In today's video, I am going to be breaking down 5 basketball plays that every young player needs to learn how to use, but also needs to learn because these are the most basic skills that are needed at the youth level. Now, keep in mind, I understand that some European countries don't allow screens at a young age. I understand, but the rest of the world does. Okay, let's get down. Let's check these out really quickly. If you want an easy basketball offense, make sure to go check out my complete guide to the 5-out offense that is down in the description below. I personally like and prefer to teach younger players the 5-out. Now, before you start saying, well, we can't shoot threes at a young age, that's not the goal. The goal here is to teach them to space out, because if they don't space out, what's going to happen? Player number 4, let's call him Johnny. Pass the ball, pass the ball. Player number 2, let's call him Bobby. Pass the ball, pass the ball. Player number 5, let's call him Alan. Pass the ball, pass the ball. Guess what? They're just all going to be all clumped together. It's going to be a mess, and nobody's going to ever be able to score because they're defending their own guy. And then also, what happens? You get their defenders also guarding, and now it's just not fun. So basically, I like to teach them 5-out. I also like to teach them 4-out, but 5-out is the first play. Now there's the most basic version. There's a lot of coaches who will call this the give and go. It's 5-out, pass and cut, but you're passing the ball. I guess they call it a give and go because of soccer, but they pass the ball, you cut to the rim. When you're cutting to the rim, you have your hand up. You're looking at the ball, because if you are cutting to the rim and you don't have your hand up and you're not looking at the ball, you're going to get bonked or banged or whatever by the ball. It's not fun. Everyone's going to laugh at the kid. It's going to be great for like 10 seconds until you have to deal with them crying. But when a lot of kids, once they pass the ball, they'll just cut to the rim. Oh yeah, I'm going through the motions, and then out. But if they're going through the motions, how are they ever going to score? You have to explain to them, hey, you pass the ball. That doesn't mean that you are no longer in possession of being able to score. You pass the ball, you cut. He's going to hit you back if you are open. And then you get an open, easy layup. Now, let's say player 1 wasn't open. Player 5 is going to fill up. Player 3 is going to fill up, and because player 1 passed to the right side, he is going to fill out to the left. Make sure that you teach it this way. It's so much easier than passing and cutting and then him filling out here and just getting everything clogged up. And I'm not going to lie to you, teaching this to like 9-year-olds, which I've done many times in my life over the last like 15 years. Teaching this to 9-year-olds who have never played basketball before is going to take forever. And you may be thinking to yourself, why am I teaching a play to a 9-year-old? You're not actually teaching a play. This is a play, but this is basic movement in basketball. You are teaching how to move off ball in basketball. Basketball is not all about just on-ball skills, being able to take 60,000 dribbles and taking a shot. You have to learn how to move off ball. And that's why we want to teach this, so that we teach how to move off ball. Player 5 fills up, player 3 fills up, player 1 fills up. Player 4, let's say he passes to player 5. He then cuts to the rim. When he cuts to the rim, he's looking. This could be a pass to player 4 for a layup. But if not, then player 2 fills up. And because player 4 passed out to the left side, he fills out to the right. It's the opposite as to what he did. So you pass left, you fill right. Now let's say, just for example, the corner has the ball. Player 4 passes the ball out of the corner. He cuts. I want him to post up. Cuts to the rim, posts up, hand up, keeping the man behind him. If he gets the ball, he can post up his man. If not, then he fills back out to the spot where he came from. Straight back out to the corner. When they get to older age groups and they make that pass out, post up, screen away, he then fills, he could be passed there. You can add in different options, but that's just more advanced, and I would probably not teach that to a 9-year-old. Now, let's say you have a gigantic player. Let's say you've got like a 5'5" kid who's 8 or 9 years old. You probably want to put him in the post. Let's be honest, we all want to win games. We want to have that tall giant kid in the low post or the high post to be able to score easier. It's just how life is. We we want to win as coaches, and we want to develop our players to all be able to play all positions. But guess what? That tall giant kid at 8 years old or 9 years old, we can teach him everything in practice, but in game, probably going to get stuck in the high or low post. So this is actually a fantastic play that you can run if you have a giant on your team. I personally disagree with saying you're always in the low post. That's why I like this play, because it's in the high post. I was 6 feet tall when I was in grade 6, and I was told if you leave more than a foot outside of the key in the low post, you're going to be benched. So this is why I hate the low post for just kids, because I never really learned how to be a point guard until I was in grade 11, and that was almost too late. I had to learn all summer. So basically, you have player 2, he passes to player 5. When that happens, you have player 1 cut, you have player 2 cut. Super simple. You're already learning off-ball movement. You're also learning off-ball movement without even having the ball to start. Now, you have player 4 and 3 fill up. If player 2 or 1 was open, they could receive the pass. Now you're teaching passing skills to a center. If they're not open, they fill up. 4 fills up, 3 fills up, and now we're still in the 4 out. If player 5 was to pass to player 4, we can get him to back screen on player 3. We could get him to back screen on player 1. We could get him to back screen on player 2. We could set a screen and roll on player 4. I would not teach them all 4 of these options at the same time. I would teach them screen for the ball at first, use that screen, have him roll to the basket, try to hit him with the pass, and if that doesn't work, 1 fills up, 5 fills out, and we're back to 5 out. Now we can do our 5 out pass and cut like we just learned. However, I would definitely start with 5 out pass and cut, because that 4 out play is going to be super confusing if you start with that. Believe me, I've tried. The next play is again super simple, back into 5 out. You can check out my complete guide to 5 out down below. But next, what we're going to have is player 1 pass the ball to player 4, and he's going to set that screen on ball for player 4, and player 4 is going to use that screen. Player 1 will then roll off. Now, the idea here is we are teaching the screen, and yes, in North America, where I currently reside, we are allowed to use the screen and roll at all levels, at least where I live, which is Ontario. We can pass the ball to player 1 who is rolling from that screen, and if he is not open, guess what? Player 2 fills out, player 1 fills out, player 4 is at the point, and we're back in 5 out. You can notice that these 5 out plays and even these 4 out plays are all about trying to get that ball into the paint. See, what happens is when you attack the paint, you're going to be collapsing the defense, you kick the ball out, or the ball doesn't go into the paint. By the time he fills out, there might be some open lanes for your player to attack, because we don't want to discourage our players from attacking the rim and diverting from the play. There's a lot of coaches I understand that say you have to run the play, you have to run the play. I've seen coaches even this year. I was with coaches who said you have to coach, or you have to play by the rules. You have to run the play perfectly every time you come down the court. None of this freelance stuff. You got to run the play. And I understand that. Some coaches are like that. But if you have an open lane, you have to be able to attack it. And that's why I like the 5 out, because it really does spread out the defense. And let's face it, I'm going to tell you right now, you are going to be facing teams that do not know how to play man-to-man defense, and this is how they're going to play. So by spacing out the floor in the 5 out, and they don't know how to run a man-to-man help defense, there are massive gaps for your ball handler to attack very, very easily. Which then leads me to my 4th play. And that is, I actually kind of like to run this a little bit different. So get rid of these defenses a little bit fast, but I like to run this a little bit differently with younger players. So with younger players, we have our 2 big guys in the low post. So this is a 3 out offense, but there's some really interesting things that we can do. So we're going to run a weave. We're going to have player 1 dribble to the right side just as an example. They're going to do a dribble handoff. Now we're teaching our guys how to do a dribble handoff. Player 1, he is going to have that screen or set that screen on the dribble handoff, and he's going to roll to the basket. When that happens, player 4 is going to fill out. Player 2 is going to use that screen. Player 1 rolls, player 4 fills out. Now, if we can teach our team to look for pass first, this pass, his player may help out if they know how to play help defense. High to low post pass, easy layup. Super simple. If he's not open, he stays in the low post. Player 2 dribbles over. Player 3 comes up. Again, screen, roll. This is a dribble handoff. Player 3 comes off of that screen. Player 5 is lifting. We can hit that pass over here. Again, high to low post pass potential or just a layup, one or the other. If that's not open, he goes to the low post in the dunker spot just around the backboard line or below. Dribble handoff on this side. Again, screen, roll, lift. Again, teaching how to be able to move off ball. And now he's in the low post, and we can continue this play through until you score. You can actually run this as a high 1-4 also, and this will be my 5th play. This is if you don't necessarily have tall players. However, still want to try and get players into that high or low post. What you're going to do is do a dribble handoff on this side. For example, player 2 gets that ball. Player 5 removes himself from the situation out towards that sideline. Player 1 is going to roll. Player 2 is going to attack that high point area. Now, this could be a pass into player 1, but what you may find out and what you might see is player 4 might go over and help. I've seen this so many times. That's when you pass to player 4 and he gets the easy open layup. Psychological games are a lot of fun. If he's not open, he returns to the high post. This will be a dribble handoff. He will roll. 4 will remove himself. And now this could be a pass to player 2 or to player 1, depending on the defense. If not, dribble handoff on this side. Again, roll, remove, use the screen, and again, we can continue to run this through. I hope that these plays help your team. Really make sure to check out my complete guide to the 5-out offense. It's going to give you a ton of different options when it comes to the 5-out because there's more than what I just said right now. And if you run maybe a 10U team or an 11U team, you may want a couple of more advanced options, and that's what you'll find in the complete guide to the 5-out. I hope that you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, hit that like button and subscribe. I'll see you guys again next time.